Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. You got champions, right? Undefeated at the highest level. Everybody's chasing after you. You know what I mean? Everybody wants your head, so to say. And how is it carrying that with you? You know what I mean? Like at the highest level with all the attention on you. Because Habib went through it, Ilya Tapar is going through it. What about you?
For me, I mean, it's not as bad since I am in like Bellator and like the PFL space. I do have people coming after me that have the opportunity to fight me, but I think it'd be at a different level of pressure if I was in the UFC or a bigger promotion, or if they did cross promotional stuff, you know. But it does. I mean, being a champ in Bellator before is a little bit different than being a champ now because now they're doing cross promotional things with PFL. So, I mean, there are more people coming after my head. I know Impa wants to come after me again. Um, yeah, he wants to get that back for sure. And yeah, I mean, there's definitely more pressure. More guys want to take me out. But for me, it's just the same old, same old. Every day I'm just trying to get better. And I really don't pay attention too much to it. I just pay attention to my craft and getting better each and every day.
All right, and man, you're heading to London to fight Fabian Edwards again. What are your thoughts
Yeah,
on
he's trying to get me
being
back too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And, what are your thoughts on being the champion going into enemy territory, man? You don't really see that too much.
I mean, I went in enemy territory last time too. I went to Ireland and I got booed. And they did the rematch in London. And it's like, what are we doing? I know they're doing most of their fights overseas, but it's like, I'm your champion. And the fact that you are making me fight on foreign soil 2 times in a row is kind of like, it's a little weird and a little sketchy to me, but it is what it is. Maybe they just that's the cards I drew. Like maybe that's the only time they could fit me in, and London made the biggest sense because Fabian has a following there. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. I fought in foreign soil last time. I got booed. I'm gonna get booed again on foreign soil. I've never been to London, so I'm really looking forward to that. And also, I'm boys with Jorge Masvidal, and the last time he went to the UK, he knocked out Darren Till. So I'm trying to do the same type of shit.
Yeah, Jorge's done a few things in England. You know what I mean? There's
Oh
a
yeah,
few, even
yeah, yeah.
involving his, Fabian's
Didn't
brother
he
as
punch?
well.
Yeah, he punched his brother. Yeah, yeah, he punched his brother
Yeah,
there. That's. I
yeah.
think. Yeah, yeah. They don't.
What is it?
Jorge
The
doesn't really
three
like him.
piece
That's
in the
actually another
soda.
reason. Yeah, that's another reason why I didn't really like the Edwards brothers. Like, wasn't a big fan of them like from the beginning. Um, but yeah, I'll just go out there to handle business and beat the guy up again.
Speaking of Leon, after you beat Fabian the first time, you and Leon in the cage. Take us back to that moment and explain what exactly happened.
I remember before the fight, I was just like there's a lot of hype behind Leon. Obviously, that hype kind of went away after his loss to Bilal. Congrats to Bilal. But I just remember I'm like, dude, I'm gonna beat up his brother. I'm gonna beat up Leon the same night. So like after I knocked out his brother, I was like, you're next. Like I was hyped up, bro. I had a lot of I didn't really like Fabian very much, and that there's just a lot of tension. When I knocked him out, I just really let loose. It's really emotional, and kind of when I'm in that state, I'm just a killer. I'm ready to go. And I mean, his brother stepped in, and was eyeing me, and I was like, all right, you want to square up? I'm down. Like I don't care. Like if they allowed it, I'd fight them, but I mean, obviously that's not going to happen. So. Uh, yeah, I think that's really what was going through my mind is I'm a fighter at heart, and anytime there's a challenge in front of me, I'm ready to take it on.
Fabian, he really does not like you. Did you feel like it's worse? Like it's become bigger? Like the hate is much more?
I don't really care. I mean, he can hate me as much as he wants. I dislike him the same amount. I really don't. I really don't care. I'm just like it's kind of over with. I knocked him out, and to me in my head, he's just trying to get it back, and there's no one else for me to fight, so that's why they're running it back. And you know what? Champions gotta go out and prove things a second time sometimes. And I'm gonna go out there and be a champion and put on another great performance. So he can hate me all he wants. I'm very, very focused. I'm dedicated to putting on a great performance, and that's all that's in my head.
What do you think of him, calling you fake though? Like, because he's talking about the OnlyFans situation. I feel like that was just part of promotion. You know, what I mean, this is the fight
Yeah,
game you have to promote.
how is that? How is that? Calling that fake would be calling every fighter fake ever, because we do some type of promotion to build up some type of shit. And I mean, I guess some guys don't, like maybe Fedor doesn't, but the fact that I'm just fucking around with something like kind of seeing what it does to draw an eye to my page. Sorry, I got something stuck in my eye. Um, I was just experimenting with stuff, and the fact that you call me fake for that, I mean, I think he's just projecting. Let's be real. He doesn't really know me. He's probably just upset that I fucking knocked him the fuck out, and I had all this, you know, press about me and whatnot. So he just falls back on calling me fake, and I personally think he's just projecting his own circumstances.
Earlier this year, he fought Aaron Jeffrey as I guess the title eliminator. What did you think of that performance?
Eh. He had some good moments. I won't. I'll give him that, but it wasn't a great fight. It was pretty boring. A lot of cage time. Um, the fact that he let someone like hold him like that, like, come on, dude. You can't like literally. You're gonna let someone hold you on the cage. Like, be a man, get the fuck off the cage, and beat that guy up. At least that's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? So he had some good moments, and I thought he won, but not a great performance.
In your last fight against Impa, what I mean, that was a gnarly fight, man. The first
Yeah.
round, obviously you won that round. The third round, a lot of people was thinking it's a toss up, but I watched that fight like 15 minutes
Nah.
ago again.
Nah. I watched it yesterday. Actually, I was just like, I'm gonna watch this fight because I watched Impa and Josh Severa, my teammate, fight. I helped him for that fight, and it was a fucking close one. It was a banger, bro. But yeah, I when I watch it back, dude, I clearly dominate pretty much most of the time, other than that one moment Impa had where he knocked me down, and that was just a lack of judgment on my part. All I had to do was circle out, but part of me was like, no, I'm gonna stand my ground. Blah, blah. I'm gonna box with this guy. It's like, no, you don't need to box with the guy the whole fucking fight. Like, you can move out the way. You can be elusive, and that's what I learned from that fight. And I'm gonna be a little bit smarter next time I step in the ring. That's it. I don't have to bang it out every single time. I can be elusive and move out the way every once in a while.
Yeah, you said, on in a post that, it was an off night and that's when you show like how good you really are is on your off nights where you could beat the best guys that are chasing after you, what I mean, trying to take your head off. And yeah, man, it was that second round, man, that was an insane round. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I was watching, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I'm pretty sure everybody was like, "What the fuck?" Because that's not how I fight, man. It's just
Mhm.
not. That's not me. But the cool thing about that happening was I showed that I'm a dog, but I can always be a dog. And my coach was like, "You don't have to be a dog. You're good enough to where you don't have to fight like that." And that's where I'm like, "Yeah, I want a long career. I don't want to take damage, and I need to be smart." And I guess in that fight, I just proved that I'm a fucking dog. And like, when I do get knocked down, I'm not out of the fight. You have to fucking put me away. If you don't put me away, I'm gonna get you back. Like, for instance, another good fight I watched this past weekend where a guy showed dog in him was Mateus Gamrot versus Dan Hooker. Hooker got knocked down in the first round, and dude, he came back swinging, and he hurt Mateus a few times, and it was a close fight. But I thought Hooker just edged him out. Um, but yeah, sometimes you got to show that you have that dog in you, and I mean, that's a champion mindset right there. Um, you got to come back from being down sometimes.
Yeah, and, with all the prizes too, it's not like some prelim fight at, 3 p.m. It's at, prime
Yeah,
time main event shit.
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's pressure to perform always, but the key to it is just being consistent in your abilities and performing at a consistent basis, and always putting on good performances and exciting performances. You don't want to be boring either. So there's a little mix of like, okay, being safe, being precise, but also being somewhat exciting and pulling off some cool tricks at the same time.
Yeah. Did Impa hit you the hardest out of anybody, you think?
Dude, the person that hit me the hardest, it hasn't even been a fight. It's been in like sparring. T Wood hits pretty hard. Dustin Poirier hits hard. Dude, George has hit me pretty fucking hard. Like the guy that beat Wilkinson hits pretty hard. Dovelet, guys that I've trained, all these guys that I've trained, dude, I've been hit harder in practice than in fights. Um, yeah, dude, it doesn't compare actually. Like I remember the fucking hits from practice. Now, I don't really remember too much of the hits from fights.
Dovlet's gonna fight Impa in the finals for the
Yeah,
$1 million, man. What do you think of that one?
yeah, dude, that's a tough fight for both of them because it's two different styles. Like Impa's like in your face, walk you down a little bit, boxing, heavy boxing, and a lot of volume. And Dovelet's more like a mid to out. He can fight all ranges, but he likes to stay in mid range, and he doesn't throw too much volume, but he hits fucking hard, and he throws like spitting shit. And he also has some wrestling. So Impa doesn't have great wrestling. I don't really see him take guys down too often. Dovelet is like he fights smart. Like he'll strike with you, strike with you, and he'll try to take you down at the end of the round to win the round. Like that's what he was doing with Wilkinson. He didn't get the takedown, but the fact that he was trying was kind of showing his game plan. And I think that's really, really intelligent as a fighter to do that because who knows? You don't know what the round like. The round might be really close, and the judges might not understand. Like, okay, this guy hit this guy a little bit more, so it might be really, really close. But if you get that big takedown at the end, I mean, that could sway the judges to your side.
For sure. And after that fight against Impa, you spent some time away, kind of unplugged. How good was that for you to get away from everything, and even like I think you got away from your socials as well. You don't even deal with that
Yeah, dude. I
anymore.
mean, I just got off Instagram. I just was. It has nothing to do with like. It has nothing to do with like me wanting to unplug from social media. I just felt like I was because I think it's beneficial to be updated on shit, and it's nice because you want to hear the latest, right? But I just felt like there was more negative side effects from the constant like scrolling and searching for new shit or like, I would waste an hour on social media. So like I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get off this completely. Also like I bought a van. I started doing some van life. I went to Washington and back. I went to Vegas and back. When I was out in Vegas, I was training with Chris Curtis and Sean Strickland. That was great. But yeah, just fucking living life off grid a little bit and enjoying it, and hanging out with my dogs, hanging out with my fiance. And, it's just how the world has been most of the time. It only recently we've been able to do things like we are right now and like having instant information on your phone all the time and, being able to watch like thousands of hours of YouTube videos or whatever. That's one thing I'm still on. I'm still watching a lot of YouTube, but a lot of it's informational. Like I'm learning things, but I think I just pulled away from social media because I wasn't learning as much. I was more just being updated on things and updated on people's lives. But like at the end of the day, that's not really like working for me. If anything, it might be working against me. So I just kind of sat down and was like, yeah, I don't think I need this. And I kind of cut it out. And, it was tough at first. I would be picking up my phone. I'm like, why the hell am I picking up my phone? Like, why? Like, there's nothing to do with it. And then now it feels normal. Being unplugged from social media is nice. And people will tell me things like I hear it through the grapevine. And I'm like, oh shit! And then I'll do a little like investigating on Google and stuff. And it's just funny to learn things like after the fact and not being updated instantly. So and it's like how people learn things back in the day, like through talking with your friends and shit. So, but it's actually better because I have more to talk about because like I won't know it and they'll explain it to me, and then we'll go down this whole rabbit hole about it. And yeah, dude, it's been nice. It's been great to unplug from what most people are plugged into.
Yeah. After that, like, when did you like get into like heavy training back at American Top Team?
I want to say I started camp when did I start camp, babe? July. I think I started camp 7 weeks ago. I helped Josh his whole camp. I sparred with him twice a week. I did 5 rounds though every time. I did 3 with him, and I would do 2 with another fresh guy. But before that, I helped Dalton Rasta for his camp, and then before that, I helped Josh for his camp with Wilkinson. So I've been training hard pretty much the whole. Like I would come here, train hard as fuck for a couple weeks, and then I'd go out in the van and leave, and then I would go train somewhere else. Like I would be off for a week, and then I'd go train in Vegas for a week, and then I'd drive back, and I'd take a week off driving back, and then I'd come back here and train again, and then I think the longest time I actually like didn't train was maybe like didn't spar was like 3 weeks. I went to Washington State and back, but I was like training while I was like driving up there, and I trained with my buddy Naughty Aguilar up in Washington State doing functional patterns and stuff like that, and we were tweaking some things, and but nothing like no heavy training. And then I came back, and then I started camp. So I'm never like not training, and if I'm not heavy training, I'm like studying film and watching footage of myself from old sparrings, and watching film on guys I want to fight like. So I'm just constantly learning.
Yeah, being who you are and being the champion at middleweight for Bellator, you're always going to be compared to like, guys that you train with, like Vittori, Sean Strickland. You're always going. He's like, I think he's publicly said like he's like you're like one of his favorite people to spar, and that's all he really does. You know what I mean?
Dude, like he always tells me like when I'm in town, he's like, "You're like the only guy that will go 5 rounds with me, like that can go 5 rounds with me." And I'm like, I'm starting to realize I'm having the same problem here. I have to fight 2 people every day, or not every day, or twice a week. I have to fight 2 people because no one can go just 5 rounds with me. I have to fucking make it difficult for myself and push myself by fighting 2 fucking grown ass men that are trained to kill people. So I kind of have the same problem. So I kind of feel I wish I had somebody I can just go 5 rounds with, because it's like a little bit more realistic, but also like it's just nice because you both get tired at the same time. Because I mean it's so tough. I like as soon as I start breaking a guy and like we're in the third round, and we finish the round, I have a great round. I just broke the guy, and then like I go into the fourth round. I'm like I'm a little tired, and then I have a fresh fucking guy. I'm like, God damn it, I gotta do all that over again. And like my timing's a little bit slower than it was, and this guy's timing's fresh, and it's just like, oh fuck. But I mean, it is what it is, and I think it's gonna make me a better fighter, training that way. And yeah, dude, I think Sean's one of my favorite people to spar with because like we go 5 rounds, and it's just me and him in there, and we're always getting better. We're always like every time I train with him, we're doing something slightly different. So we have to like navigate the sparring a little bit different and score on each other a little bit differently. So it's always fun to train with him.
Yeah, I could only imagine like it's a technical battle. I mean, you guys are sparring, you guys are not really fighting, so you guys get to really test them
We
things.
spar hard as fuck, bro. I'm telling you, man. It's like people watch it. They're like,
Yeah,
"Did
yeah.
you
I saw the
guys just
video, man. Everybody's just standing outside of the cage, just looking, and they're like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, yeah, almost every time. If we're in extreme and it's not on sparring day, we usually have to on sparring day and extreme. We rotate with people, and so I think me and Sean would maybe like do 2, or sometimes we do 1, but we want to like he doesn't want to hog me, is what he tells me. He's like, I don't want to hog you. I want you to train with other guys around here, and I was like, yeah, cool, cool, cool. But like sometimes like we'll go to the PI on a Saturday, and we'll just go straight 5 rounds. I mean, the last time I think we sparred like straight. We sparred at Extreme on Monday before wrestling practice. Like we sparred at like 11, did 5 rounds. We went home, ate, whatever, chilled for a little bit, and came back at like 3:30 and fucking did a whole wrestling practice. And we were like, why did we do this? This is like I feel terrible right now. Yeah, that
And
was
that
that
doesn't
was a tough,
sound
that
fun.
was a tough day. That was a tough
Yeah.
day.
Well,
But
he's gonna be fighting for the title again, so which is
yeah,
good for him, man. And what'd you think of the Duplessis fight against Adesanya?
makes sense why what, that happened. I mean, I watched the highlights. I haven't been able to watch the whole fight. I actually went to bed. I was so tired. I was like, I'm not staying up for this. I'll watch the next day. And then I haven't watched it yet. I need to watch it, but I watched some highlights. It looked like Izzy was kind of outpointing him, and Dricus was landing some shots, but I thought Izzy was doing better. And then I think everything started changing. What in the third or maybe the fourth? But yeah, I think the third, um, Dricus started landing more, and then like obviously the fourth he hurt him and then submitted him. And I was like, yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense because Dricus is like always powerful, and he happens to finish guys in the third round or like late in later rounds. Like he can finish guys at any point in time. Um, like he's always game to fight regardless of how tired he is. And Izzy can't really wrestle that great. And Dricus can't wrestle that amazing, but he's strong. He's a pretty big athletic dude. He's like a giant, he's like a giant, like uncoordinated ogre. You know what I mean? Like his movements aren't like crisp, but he like makes things work, and he's pretty explosive. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he like fucking tears an ACL though. Like just by the way he moves. Like I feel like he's gonna fuck himself up. But anyway, explosive and can find a finish when he can when he needs to. And I'm not surprised with the decision or with how everything played out. And I'm actually happy that Sean's gonna get another crack at it. I thought he won the first fight. Hopefully he comes out a little bit more aggressive the next fight. I think that would change a lot.
How underrated is his wrestling, Sean's?
Very. The motherfucker can wrestle, man. Like not like wrestle. He can grapple. I'll give him that. He can't like if me and him like wrestled each other like straight up like a wrestling practice. I'm gonna take him down a bunch. But like that changes everything changes when you can start punching people and like start kicking, you know? And then like straight up grappling, like him start on top or me start on top, like he's good there. He's good at grappling. Like his grappling game's very underrated. His wrestling game's underrated, but like I said, I'm a college wrestler. So my my outlook on wrestling is like up here. You know what I mean? So if you're not up here, I'm not gonna say your wrestling game is like underrated. You have to be like I would say someone's wrestling game that's underrated is like a guy that maybe people don't know about that wrestled in college, but like was never like an NCAA champ or like me. Like I have good wrestling. At first, I think a lot of people underestimated my wrestling because I'm not like a Bo Nickel or like Jordan Oliver. He just fought this past weekend in PFL. He actually, I was talking to him after. He was like, "Yeah, I'm trying not to wrestle as much. I'm trying to strike more." I'm like, "That's good. You're learning early." I feel like guys that don't have that pedigree and then they go to fight. I think those guys usually get their wrestling underrated. You know, they're like people underestimate their wrestling. But yeah, I would say people don't really see it, so they don't know how to really judge it. And I would just say, yeah, dude, that guy can grapple. He can wrestle.
Where do you think Adesanya goes from here, man? That's two straight losses. It's
No, fighting up and comer. Um, he needs a win. The thing is he's beat all those guys. Who
yeah.
has he not fought in the top? Or oh, he hasn't fought. What's his name that just beat the French dude that just beat Jared Cannonier.
I'm him off.
Yeah, I would like to see that. I'd like to see
But
that fight.
if they really wanted to like catapult somebody, I think that they would put Hamzat in there against Adesanya. If they wanted to catapult Hamzat, you know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
don't know. I don't know. I feel like Izzy does enough grappling where he can maybe survive. Because that's all you have to do with him is like kind of survive, get to your feet, and then let's be real. Like Kamaru Usman was like kind of touching him up, and I mean Izzy's a different level of striker than Kamaru Usman. So I mean, yeah, you can maybe catapult like if if or not Kamara, if Hazmat goes out there, submits him in the first round, yeah, I could see that. Um, but I don't know. I think Izzy's smarter than that. He has a better fight IQ. He has good movement. You know, you have to be. You can't just go out there and just fucking strangle that guy. You have to be like technical in your way you go about that. And not to say that Cosma isn't technical. I just feel like he bulldogs or bulldozes through guys, and if he can't, it ends up like a fight like Burns. It ends up like a fight like Kamaru. And then if you have that type of fight, but you have a fucking elite striker like Adesanya, I mean that's a little bit different of a story, you know. Like Burns dropped him, like, and he's not even a middleweight, you know. So I think a better fight would be Imanov. Is that how you say his name?
I'm a Bob or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a better fight. And Cosmont needs to fight a middleweight, like just a ranked middleweight. And I guess
Mhm.
yeah, you could put him with Izzy, but I feel like is he supposed to fight Whitaker?
Oh, that's right. He is. He is supposed to fight
Yeah.
Whitaker.
So I think that's a solid. I think Whitaker wants that. So like
Mm.
let them have that. But in the meantime, maybe you make that fight. I don't know.
All right. Yeah.
Or Izzy waits, and if he gets through Whitaker, you make that matchup so you can get Cosmot to the title.
Well, with your fight, your title fight coming up, what do you see in this one, man? You finished the guy in the first one. It's like I remember some fighter telling me like if you have a rematch, it's like you have to do better than the first fight. You know what I mean? Is that what you see?
I mean, nah. I'm just gonna go out there, fight how I'm supposed to fight, stick to the game plan, punch in his fucking face, take him down, maybe strangle him, maybe knock him out again. And if I don't, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of him for 5 rounds, you know. And if I have to get hit a little bit, I'll get hit a little bit. It's no big deal, you know. I'm not new to this fight game. I understand how fights can play out sometimes, but I find a way to win regardless of how it plays out. So, and every time, you know, I'm not really searching for finishes. I'm more so just going in and sticking to a game plan. And if a finish happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But at the end of the day, I'm getting my hand raised.
Yeah, September 14th, Bellator London, middleweight title, Johnny Eblen. Thank you so much, man, always for taking the time and all the best in the fight, man. Everybody go grab a shirt. They're available. There you
Let's
go.
go. Go to my website, johnnyeblin.com, and there will be a link to the shop. It'll take you to a Shopify. And I think we have 4 designs on 2 different shirts. Like we got this storm black and we got apricot. It's like a cream color. And then we also have a hoodie, but it's only with certain designs because the pocket we can only do the horizontal designs. The vertical designs we have to do on like a sweatshirt or a long sleeve, and we're going to come out with those soon. And then we still have my original pressure shirts. They say Johnny Pressure. They're tighter fitting, so they're more for training. These are like oversized and more for like streetwear. So yeah, tap in, cop one. They're pretty fucking sick. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very proud of these.